Hello there, fellow Scorpios. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot reading. We're going to see what's coming up for us. I do want to apologize for being late and getting these out. I literally decided June 30th that I wanted to do monthlies and that I wanted to do them much more in-depth than I have been doing the weeklies. And so I didn't want to wait to start these. I didn't want to wait till August to start these. So they are behind because they do take a lot more time. I can only get one or two of these actually put together and ready to be published during a day, depending on how many private readings I have going on that same day. So it is taking a little time. I am behind. I do apologize. I don't know if I'll be completely on schedule by the time August rolls around, but I am hoping that by September I'll have everything under control and have these up and out before the month actually begins. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we are breaking the month down into different time segments, so we're not getting just one overall general for the whole 30-day period, or in this case the whole 21-day period. We are going to break it down so we have ideas of themes during different parts of the month. So this first time frame that we're covering is going to be starting July 10th and ending the end of July 18th. So July 10th through the 18th is what we're looking at for this first time frame. Those of you who don't want to witness me shuffling the cards or putting the cards down, feel free to go ahead and fast forward through this portion of the video. That is going to happen multiple times on a video like this, these monthlies that are more in-depth. So, you know, some people do like to witness that, and I understand that, and that's cool. If you're not one of those people that has to witness it, then feel free to go ahead and scroll through to where I actually start talking about what I see in the cards. That will save you some time, and these are longer videos. All right. Okay, fellow Scorpios, what we're going to start with is going to be time frame from the 10th through the 18th of July, and what we're looking at first has to do with our environment. Now, our environment is any place where we have energy or effort invested. For most of us, it's going to be home. For some of us, it'll be work or school. I'm imagining home is definitely going to be the dominant thing, especially with what's been going on in the world. But you'll recognize the environment as I'm talking about it, I'm sure. So, what we have going on with the environment, Scorpios, it does look like we are sharing our environment with somebody. I'm hearing at least temporarily. This is somebody who is very well grounded, very nurturing, somebody who is a very generous person that we're actually sharing our environment with. This looks like it could definitely be a pleasant situation. It looks like it does look like we would like to have some changes in the environment, but we may be pushing for those a little faster than what we're actually ready for. And it looks like we can push as hard as we want, but nothing is really changing right now. Okay, so that's what we have coming up for our environment. Next, let's look at our subconscious leanings for the 10th through the 18th. I want to set those to the side so they're not in the way. So subconscious leanings are things that are running around in the background program of our minds. Every once in a while they're going to come up to consciousness, but this is the things that we think about in the background while we're doing other things, while we're sleeping, just subconscious leanings. And so what we have during this time frame, okay, this is going to sound really odd, but I'm going to say it because this is what's coming through. I think we're expecting a surprise. Okay, and you know, Scorpios, we're water signs. We're pretty intuitive. So when I say we're expecting a surprise, everybody else might be surprised. We might not be so surprised by whatever this is because, like I said, we're expecting this thing that seems like it could be a surprise. It looks like whatever this is that we're expecting, we are already kind of thinking about, okay, it looks like there's probably some kind of opportunity that is coming around or coming back around that we're expecting that other people wouldn't be. And we're making a strategy about how are we going to handle that if that actually does happen, if that actually does come up. And it looks to me like we're leaning towards not really wanting to jump into that opportunity or that situation that may be coming back up supposedly unexpectedly. We're just thinking it may not be such a great thing, okay? And so our subconscious leanings are really about, I think we've already, like in our subconscious, we've already decided we don't want to jump back into that opportunity or situation. And so our subconscious is really looking at how do we get prepared? What kind of strategy can we put together to keep ourselves from being sucked into that? And maybe that's the surprise part, is the idea that even though we know that it's probably coming, we may not have a strategy for keeping ourselves from getting drawn into that situation again. And so our subconscious is working on strategizing that. All right. La da da da. Next thing I want to look at for us next. I think I want to look at where our personalities are being grown or expanded on the period from the 10th through the 18th. Okay. So we've been in a situation where we've had to compete with other people, or if we have a company, we've had to compete with other companies. And it looks to me like where we're coming into growth with our personality is we're realizing that we're not really into that competition. We're not into that competitiveness. We are not into being manipulated by the idea that there's competition. And so I think that we are taking some time to really examine ourselves and what makes us tick, what makes us jump through those hoops whenever we know we have competition, to do things that we normally wouldn't do just because we know we're up against somebody else. Whether that's cutting prices, too low in a self-destructive way, or whether it's in a personal type competition, doing something that we normally wouldn't choose to do just to show that we're better than the competition. So we are taking some time to really look at, okay, what makes us trigger? What makes us actually jump through those hoops? And, why are we doing this? To kind of get to the bottom of it so we can sort of sort this out so that the next time that we're in a situation like this, we're not going to jump through those hoops. We're going to say, oh, you want to stick me in a competition? That's okay. I've got other places to be. I've got other clients. I've got other people in my life who appreciate me without making me jump through hoops, who see the value in me, and they don't have to compare me to 15 other people or 3 other people or 2 other people or 1 other person just to see my value. They already understand my value. They don't make me compete. They value me for who I am, not who they can turn me into. So that's where we're growing and expanding, is in really getting to the bottom of this idea of being made to perform or manipulated into performing by the idea that there's competition around. Getting to the bottom of that, of why we do that, and breaking that cycle. Because I think we already can see that this is a cycle that is not helping us, that it's not healthy for us. Okay? So, next thing that I want to look at during this time frame is going to be learning style and also communication style. This kind of tells us a lot about what's going on during this time frame normally. So when I look at learning style, I'm going to be really honest here. I think that we've got something that's coming back around. Something from the past. Doesn't have to be a romantic situation. Can be a work situation, can be a family life situation. But there's something that is coming back around that we already have quite a bit of information about. And I think we're getting caught up on current events in this situation, maybe. But the basics we pretty much already know. We're just filling in more details right now on this. I don't feel like we're having to go super sleuth to fill in the details either. I think the information is just coming forward in a pretty natural and organic way. We're pretty confident in the knowledge that we already have as well. Now, communication style. It's interesting because we look like we're a little bit bipolar on our communication style, fellow Scorpios. I can say that. I'm talking about me too. Don't get your panties all in a wad here. Let's see. And when I mean that is there are certain people that we are listening to, and that's all we're really doing. Like, we're not really saying much of anything to them. Whatever we're saying is completely superficial, things that they wouldn't be able to get very much information from actually at all. And then we have other people in our lives where we're just pouring out information. We are venting actually to these other people, and we are really kind of overloading them with information about how we're feeling about situations as they're happening. And this could be somebody like best friends, that type of thing. And then there are other people that we are being very cautious about what we share with them as far as information. We're being very cautious about opening up to them. We are basically giving them hints about things about ourselves and waiting to see how they react before we give them another hint. So that's what I mean when I say bipolar. Some of us were just pouring information out. Others were just mostly listening, and others were hinting. We're seeing what they do with the information before we continue on. All right, let's look next at work. Those of you who have had a private reading with me or have been watching me for a very long time know that I look at work in two different ways. So I look at work as not only that thing that we do to make a living or to feel productive in a community, but I also look at work as those things that we do to improve our own character, to make ourselves happier with us or more personally satisfied with our own selves. So first we're going to look at outer work, or how we make a living or feel productive in the community. It looks like during this time frame from the 10th to the 18th, we are partnered up with somebody who normally is very logical. I'm actually even hearing scientific, analytical minded. We're partnered up with somebody who normally is like that, but right now emotions have sort of overtaken their brain. So normally where they would logic things out, now emotions are what has control of them. And so that is somebody that we're paired up with as far as work. Okay, so we're not talking about a romantic partnership. I mean, you could be married to somebody that you work with. That's not going to apply to all Scorpios. But definitely at work, this is what's going on with this partner. And it looks like this person has been so emotional that we may even be taking time to get away from them and then trying to come back and work with them and get things moving forward. I do think that whatever it is we're working on with them is going forward productively, maybe even in spite of them. Definitely they're contributing less than what they normally would to get the project moving forward or to keep the project moving forward. And like I said, I think that we're kind of going through cycles of being able to work with them and then needing to step back and kind of ground ourselves and get back into our own mojo because of their emotions. I think their emotions are kind of overwhelming us. Yeah, and for us to handle things well, we have to step back and get that kind of energy really out of our auras so that we can handle things in a grounded way. All right. Next up, Scorpio, what we're looking at for ourselves is those things that we stand for. Looks like we are digging for some information right now. And it looks like we may be digging for some information because we have an idea, we have an inspiring idea about another person, and we are digging for information about whether this other person might go for that inspiring idea. So we're digging for things about, this could be somebody who may, who has, they're in a position of control of some sort. We may be digging for information about people who could invest in our inspiring idea, or we may be digging about information for somebody who might be interested in an idea about travel, or some kind of idea about building a future together in some way, business, personally, whatever. But we are doing some research, and that research is around a person. This could even be that we're going so far as stalking somebody, possibly electronically, maybe even in person a little bit, but definitely we're digging for information, and somebody's confronting us. Somebody is saying, you know, why are you doing that? And we're defending this. We're defending this behavior. We feel like we're justified in whatever this is that we're doing here to dig for information around this person who has some type of authority. All right, how does the person that confronted us about this feel about us from the outside looking in? They feel like we're, like we've got too much going on our plates, like we're not able to handle everything that we have going on. But they also can see that we're in a very happy place. We're feeling really good. We're feeling satisfied. We're feeling like things are moving forward for us productively in our lives. And they're also seeing that part of the reason that we're moving forward in our lives is that there is something or somebody that we're cutting out of our life. Maybe we're cutting out an old habit or a negative thought pattern. Maybe we're cutting out a psychic vampire. Maybe we're cutting out, you know, a cycle about the people that we have romantic interest in. But there's something that we are cutting out, and we're cutting it out because it was causing problems. And they're seeing us become happy because of cutting this thing out. And it may even be somebody who was juggling or going back and forth between us and somebody else. That would kind of tie in with what we saw earlier about the whole competition thing where we're growing and expanding. We may be cutting out somebody that was trying to put us in a role where we were competing with other people for their attention or for their you know, for their services or whatever it is, whether it's a business situation, personal situation, friendship, whatever. And by cutting that person out that was, you know, putting us into this competitive situation, we have found some happiness and satisfaction, or at least that's what this person on the outside has to say. That's what they think about us. All right. La, la, da, da, da. So the next thing that we're going to look at has to do with a place that is something that happens that's sort of a turning point or a flex point during this time frame. This is where things are going to start to go in a little bit of a different direction, okay? And so what we have showing up here part of it really is that our luck is changing, but part of the reason that our luck is changing is because we are going from feeling like an outsider to finding somebody to cooperate with, to partner with, to collaborate with on a project that we want to move forward. And because we're finding somebody who is an appropriate person to collaborate with and move forward with, things are starting to go better. Things are starting to go more smoothly. Things are more even in this collaboration than what has been going on previously. All right? Maybe this is somebody who doesn't need us to compete. Maybe they know that they like our services, or they know that they like what we bring to the table, whether it's personal or business or whatever. And so things are going better because there's not this distraction of looking around for somebody better or trying to jump through hoops. We can just focus on doing a good job. All right, let's look at some things that are happening during this time. Oh yeah, we have definitely cut off confusion with somebody who is always kind of looking for the next best thing or the next best person. We've cut off interactions with them. We've cut off communication with them. We don't want to hear from them. We found somebody to collaborate with that appreciates us for who we are. Things are going well. There's no need for us to hear from them. In fact, it's not that this person isn't on our minds, but we are very focused on the idea of, nope, not communicating with that person, not interacting with that person. That's bad mojo for us. It ruins our energy when we start to get into that type of mojo around that person. So we are keeping those blinders on and staying very focused on the things that we want to accomplish and keeping ourselves away from somebody that we know is going to be dragging us down. Now, what else is going on during this time? Okay. So, as we're finding somebody to collaborate with that appreciates what we bring to the table, and as we're staying focused on not communicating with somebody who really is interfering with us moving forward, this is sort of bringing things to a head with that other person. And so I think that even though we start off by not communicating with this person, I do think that there's communication that's made. I think this person gets through to us, and so we do actually finally ultimately communicate with them. But when we do, I think they're really frustrated with us, and we're also very frustrated with them. I think that we kind of blow our tops at each other. I think this is a big disagreement, and when I say big, I just mean that this is something that this is a disagreement that has long-term effects on the interactions between us and them. And I think after this disagreement, there is a lot of confusion around this person, and this person is trying to show us that they're stable, that they're reliable, that we can count on them. That we can count on them. It's pretty obvious from before, this is not somebody that we can count on for anything except to drag us down. But now they're trying to convince us that they're reliable and we can count on them. Now they're realizing that we're not into competing for them. So they're trying to say now, well, you don't have to compete. I'm all about you. I'm not sure how seriously we're going to take that, to be honest with you. Okay, let's look at how this time frame ends. So this time frame ends with us still not getting back together with whoever this was that we cut off communication from, whether this was a business partner, a friendship, romantic relationship, whatever. I don't see us combining forces with them again. I don't see us collaborating with them again. What I do see is I see us looking out at our legacy, looking out at what we're creating that has lasting value, and we're really evaluating that and evaluating, is this what we want to put out there? And what we're doing right now, how is that getting us towards what we want to put out there? I think that we are feeling like we are missing that person that we used to collaborate with that really brought us down more than actually helped us. We were attached to them. We're still kind of attached to them. We're missing them. But as we are looking at our legacy, we know that no matter how much we miss them, we can't count on them to help us to leave the kind of legacy that we want to leave behind, to make the lasting mark on the people in our sphere of influence that we want to make. And I think it's this truth that's coming out that is really solidifying our desire to really stay focused on keeping that person at a distance from us, whether it's geographically or whether it's emotionally. I think this is really solidifying things for us because we're seeing how this person kept us from leaving the kind of legacy that we wanted to, or at least held us. They distracted us and pulled us off course from it. And I want to be really clear here. It's not necessarily so much their fault as it's us. You know, it's how we reacted to them. We wanted to do things for them. We wanted to wrap our worlds around them. But we're realizing that, you know, that's what that person expects from us, and we don't want to do that anymore. So it's all about us harnessing our energy and pointing our energy in the direction that we feel like it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. And I think that's what's really solidifying as we're looking at the legacy that we're leaving behind on those who are in our sphere of influence. Okay, so that is the first time. Hello there, fellow Scorpios. We are back again. This time we are going to be looking at the dates of July 19th through the 25th. Let's see what comes up for us for that particular week. Like I said earlier, if you're not somebody who needs to witness the cards, we just had 2 fall. We're going to take those. If you're not somebody who needs to witness the cards being shuffled and put on the table, then feel free to go ahead and just scroll past this section of the video. No hard feelings, obviously. I do leave this recorded on camera just because there are people who prefer to witness that. And so this way you have the option. Alrighty. So, Scorpio, fellow Scorpios. First, we are going to look at environment again. Once again, environment is anywhere you have energy or effort invested. You'll recognize it as I'm talking about it. So, during the week from July 19th through the 25th, it seems like there is not a lot of happiness going on in the environment. There's something going on where it's not feeling as secure as it could be. And it looks to me like we're kind of feeling like we're at a loss. We don't know what to do to make it feel more secure again right now. And I think that there's something going on here that we're feeling very sad about. This is heartache or heartbreak actually coming up in the environment. So this could be that, you know, if we were looking to move to another place, maybe that fell through, or if there's something going on at work with, I don't know, maybe a coworker, or maybe there's something going on at work that's bringing us heartache. Whatever it is that's going on in our environment that is bringing us this heartache or heartbreak, we're feeling a little bit helpless about. We're having a hard time figuring out what can we do to help that situation along. I'm sure that we'll see a little bit more about that because it seems to be kind of a big deal. So I'm imagining that'll show up as we look at the rest of the spread. And we'll have more information coming out. Okay, so during the time of the 19th to the 25th, subconscious leanings. What is our subconscious working on? Okay, so there's somebody that we would like to give a gift to, or somebody that we would like to give a second chance to. I think that we have some kind of idea about how we can do this, how we can pull this off. And I think our subconscious is working on, you know, how can I what's the best way for me to offer this? What's the best way for me to get the message through to this person that I want to give this gift to, or this second chance to, whatever the case may be? What's the best way to say this? What's the best way to let them know this? So our subconscious is really working on, how to get that idea across to whoever it is that we want to give this gift or second chance to. Now, if this is not a second chance that we want to give to somebody, this is a very physical, tangible gift. It's either one or the other. And I feel like for some of us, it's going to be, I really think that for most of us, it's actually going to be a tangible gift more so than a second chance. I want to look next at learning style and communication style right now. And when I say right now, I mean July 19th through the 25th. Once I get into these readings, I feel like I'm very much like there. So my tenses and language may not sound like it's the future, even though we are looking at the future here. All right. 19th through 25th, learning style and also communication style. I think that we have a very clear view of everything that we are, all the information that we're looking to pick up, that we want to know about, that we're researching into. I don't think we're having any trouble picking up that information. I think it's all very clear right in front of us. We're not having to really dig for this or be manipulative about finding out information. We're not having to fish for information. I think all the information that we're looking for is right in front of us, and I think that we're picking up on it pretty quickly. So there's not a lot of room here for illusions or cloudiness or confusion. Things are coming through nice and clear. So I'd like to see that for us. As far as communication, la da da da. Once again, coming through pretty bipolar on our communication style, fellow Scorpios. So with some people, we're kind of doing some tap dancing and some walking on eggshells. We're being very careful not to say things that are going to upset those people if we can at all. With other people, we are communicating everything. We're just sharing everything with them. This is those best friend conversations, sitting down over a glass of wine, just catching up on every little thing type of conversations that we're having here. And then there's somebody in our sphere of influence that the conversations that we're having, I think we're just not communicating with somebody, and it's like a communication blackout. This is a more enforced not communicating than what I normally see in the cards. I mean, this just feels like not only are we not communicating with that person, we have made it so that they cannot see us on Facebook. Only our friends can see anything that we're publishing. This person is not only blocked, they're not our friend. We've got privacy settings out the yin yang. We are blacking everything out so that not only are we not communicating with them, they are not able to see anything about us. They're not able to look in any windows, whether they're windows on a computer or windows in a house. They're not able to look and find information about us at all. We may even be telling our network of people, if so-and-so asks about us, don't give up any information, not a whisper of a hint of a clue about anything. Okay? So, like I said, once again, very bipolar. There are some people. There's somebody that we're talking to a lot about everything, all the time. There's somebody that we have a total communication blackout with, and there's somebody that we're sort of dancing on eggshells with. So, do we have people relegated to roles in our life, or what, Scorpios? All right, next. We're going to look at work. So once again, work, I see two different ways. First, we're going to look at work in the community, or how we make a living, and then we're going to look at internal work. Okay, so how we make a living or out in the community. This is interesting. I think we're doing pretty well as far as work goes or finances goes. It looks like we are actually paying something off between the 19th and the 25th, paying off some kind of loan or some kind of debt. It also looks like we are, like our financial situation is loosening up. And it may be because we're paying off a debt, that's one less bill. But our financial situation, our budget is actually loosening up and giving us a little bit more breathing room. Yeah, I think we are getting rid of somebody who might have been kind of tyrannical about the money that we owed them. Maybe we're paying off a mortgage, maybe we're paying off a vehicle, maybe we're paying off a friend or a neighbor, but we're paying off somebody who their rules around that debt were more or less tyrannical or unfair. Okay, that's good. I like that. Oh, I guess we should look at internal work before I put those cards down too, shouldn't we? I like that. I like that a lot. This could actually even be paying off a high interest credit card. Well, you get the picture. We've already talked about it enough. We don't need to have examples. Now, internal work. We may have been focused a lot on work during the time frame from the 19th to the 25th. And so once we've got that extra breathing room, I think we're actually spending more time around people and focusing a little bit more on relationships and not so much on making the cash flow. Not to say that making the cash flow is falling off the radar. I don't think it is. But I think that we are making a little bit more time for relationships than what we were to nurture those relationships, because we're feeling a little bit less pressure about money. All right. Next. Okay, so the next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those ways in which our personality is being grown or expanded as we go through this time frame from the 19th to the 25th. This is really way cool what I'm looking at. So what's happening is there's been ways where we have been our own worst enemy, where we have put up obstacles and resistance to ourselves in our own lives. And what's going on as we go through this time frame, as far as where our personality is growing, is we are recognizing those obstacles and those limitations that we have put on ourselves that nobody else has put on us. We have put on ourselves through our own perspective and our own thinking. And we're getting really focused on replacing those perspectives or those ways of thinking that were holding us back or limiting us with something that's more healthy, that actually allows us to live to our more fully to our potential. And as we're doing that, then we're coming into a better cycle for ourselves. We're coming into a cycle where things move more smoothly. And that's perfect indication that what we're doing is bringing ourselves into a more healthy place. Because when we come into those more healthy places, those more healthy habits, those more healthy ways of thinking about ourselves and our lives and how we interact with others and with life in general, that's when things start to go more smoothly for us. It's just a natural byproduct of that. And so we're seeing things start to go more smoothly for us as we are lifting those restrictions that we had on ourselves away and focusing on opening ourselves up more to the fullness that the universe has for us. Woo woo! I like that. I like that. All right. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about those things that we stand for. Okay, so I feel like there's something that this has been more in our past where we had a tower situation, a situation where something just blew up. It was something that made us feel secure, that was unexpectedly just taken completely out of our realm of existence, and completely and unexpectedly. And I think it did really shake us when it happened. I mean, a tower is shaking things right down to the roots. I don't feel like this has actually happened in that time frame from the 19th to the 25th. I think this is something that's happened in the past, but it relates to something that we're standing up for now. So we have been very patient about that tower situation from the past. We haven't thrown a whole lot of negative emotion at it and let it stick. Like whatever happened there, whatever negative emotions we had around that, we have made a conscious decision to let those negative emotions go, to not hold on to them, to not carry that burden around. Okay, and so we've been very patient. Maybe we were waiting for answers about why this happened. Maybe, well, you know what, I'm not even going to say maybe about any of that. I think there's still a lot of confusion. Even though we've let go negative energy around that, I think we still have a lot of confusion about what happened. Why did that happen? You know, and I think what's going on is somebody is saying to us, you know, why are you so calm about this? Why aren't you more upset about this? Why aren't you angry about this? You know, and we're having to defend ourselves for the idea of just having the patience to, I think we've actually just accepted that we're never going to know all the answers. And that's okay. And I think somebody's saying to us, how can that be okay? How, you know, why haven't you found out? Why haven't you asked somebody? Why haven't you dug around and found this out? And, you know, I think we're defending the idea that, you know what, that takes too much energy and effort. I've got other things I want to focus on. You know, excuse me for wanting to move forward in my life and not stay stuck in the past. All right? So I think we've come to the idea of we're at peace with not knowing all the answers of why whatever that was blew up, and it's okay. We'd rather focus on the now, and the other person doesn't quite get that. And so they're sort of confronting us about it. Now, how the other person sees us, it's interesting here. It's interesting how this shows up. The other person sees us as not being on the same page with a partner. So this blow up that happened in the past had to do with another person that we were collaborating with on something, whether it was a romantic something, a friendship, a family something, whatever. And they're seeing us as no longer being on the same page with that person. Now, it's interesting to me that it's coming up this way because an easier way for the cards to say something like this might have been a completely different card that would indicate that we're single and independent and happily on our own. This is not saying single and independent and happily on our own directly. It's kind of saying it in a sideways way. Like, so this person sees us as not getting along with the other person. They see us as having been released by that other person. So basically they see to them, okay, that other person has broken up with us. And basically this was somebody who was a husband or somebody who was offering some kind of financial support or some kind of support, maybe emotional support, energetic support, but probably also financial support. And so they're seeing us as not fully independent and whole all on our own, but as somebody who's broken up from a couple. Isn't that interesting? I think that's fascinating. I like knowing what makes people tick. And I've never had somebody see somebody from the outside in that way. Okay? So basically, they're looking at our situation. They're seeing that, okay, somebody that was a stable, grounded person in our lives broke up with us or let us go or released us from a contract or whatever the situation may be with this tower situation. And they don't understand why we're okay with not knowing all the answers of why and what happened behind the scenes and what was all the illusion and deception about that happened behind that. They don't understand why we're okay with not knowing the whole story here. Okay? Interesting. That's fascinating to me. Maybe I spent too much time on it because it's fascinating to me, but it's my channel, I guess. I get to do what I want. I hope you guys benefit from what I want. All right. I mean, if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be watching, right? Next thing we're going to look at is the pivot point in this week. Like, where are things actually turning around for us? Wow. Wow. Okay, so from the week of the 19th to the 25th, we have somebody approaching us that is a very stable person that's letting us know how they feel about us and that they want to collaborate with us on something. And this is an emotional something. This could very well be somebody who has a romantic interest in us. Although it doesn't have to be. This could be a family member or a close tribe member, somebody that wants to collaborate with us on something. And I think that we're telling that person, you know, I really appreciate that and I'm flattered, but I don't feel the same way about you. Okay? So that's kind of where things start to take a different direction for us during this week. So at the same time, we're very close to the same time that is going on. Wow. Is this somebody else or is this us? Okay. So at the same time that is going on, there's something else that we're walking away from too, another situation or another person. And we're walking away from it because it just doesn't make logical sense. I'm not sure here if this is a situation or if this is a relationship. What I can tell you is we have this theme coming back of the legacy, of looking at, okay, what is the legacy that I want to leave, and does this situation or does this relationship support me leaving the kind of legacy that I want to? And it looks to me like we are making the logical decision that this does not. And because it does not support me leaving the type of legacy that I want to leave behind, I need to walk away from it. I need to stay focused on my goals. I need to stay focused on my mission, on my purpose. So there's basically, somebody that we're telling, you know, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way that you feel. And we've also got another situation that we're walking away from because it isn't supporting our greater goals. So we've basically got two things that we're letting go of. What else is going on? And this is the 19th through the 25th. We've been missing somebody. We are missing somebody during this time frame. We're walking away from a situation. We're telling another person we don't feel the same way. But there is somebody that we're missing. And as we're missing, we're just trying to take a break from those emotions. We're sort of checking out. We're allowing ourselves to numb out from those emotions. For some of us, we may even be drinking or using some other kind of mind-altering, consciousness level-altering substances. I don't think that's true for all of us. For some of us, what may be going on is we may be doing some spiritual practices. Yeah, we may be doing some spiritual practices to kind of help us remove the obstacles that keep us from feeling happy and independent and fully whole on our own. So there could be a break to do some spiritual work on ourselves to make us more whole as an individual so that we don't keep missing this person. And to me, the idea that we could be doing that spiritual work tells me that the person that we're missing is somebody that we don't feel is good for us. Okay? And I do strongly feel that this is going to go one of two ways. I do strongly feel that for some of us, we're going to be doing that spiritual work on ourselves. But for others of us, we are going to be doing those escapism type activities, the drinking, the drug use, something to numb the pain, to change the state of consciousness, to numb the pain. Okay, so some of us are going to be handling it one way and some of us are going to be handling it another. Either way, we are going to be reacting to this idea that we're missing somebody, we're not feeling whole and complete. So how do we see the end of the week? Okay, so once we get to the end of the week, from the 19th to the 25th, as we're approaching the end of that week, we do have the opportunity to revive some kind of relationship with somebody. We do have that opportunity. It shows up. Now, it can't be easy for this thing to show up because remember, we have this blackout of communication with this person that we don't feel like is good for us. So even as this communication shows up, like we're not communicating a lot with that person, but this person does find a way to offer us this opportunity to get things back going again. And when this person shows up, they're very inspired, they're very enthusiastic, they're very charming and convincing about this idea. It's almost like they break through our defenses or our walls just to present this idea. I think that towards the end of the week, we are restarting something with someone that we weren't communicating with before. Remember, our subconscious leanings were all about, how do I not get sucked in if this surprising thing happens? I think the rest of the world is surprised that we have this opportunity. I don't think we're surprised. I think we haven't figured out a good plan to keep from getting sucked into this thing again. So if we're going to get sucked in, let's hope it goes well this time. Also, obviously, we do have free will, so not everything I see here actually has to happen just the way that I see it. Okay? So, because we have free will, we can make different decisions so that we have a different outcome, one that would be more preferable for us. Okay, so that was that time frame. I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and I'll come back, and we'll finish up the last part. Hello again, there Scorpios, fellow Scorpios. We are looking at the last portion of time for July this time. So this is going to be for the dates July 26th through the 31st, basically the same format as we had for the other two time segments of July. Not sure what's going on with my words coming out there, but I think Mercury is in retrograde as I record this, so we're not going to get too worked up about it, are we? Let's just see what comes up for us. Okay, let's see what happens here. I don't know why I've been kind of nervous about doing the Scorpio one, because I am a Scorpio. I actually have 4 planets in Scorpio, so the sun and 3 others. Okay, let's see. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Okay, so first thing we're looking at is our environment. And this is for July 26th through the 31st. We are definitely feeling very good about our environment. Yeah. There's some things going on here. It looks like there's something going on where we're keeping some boundaries around our environment. We may be telling somebody that, I'm sorry, but I can't have you staying with me right now. Or, you may be saying, you know what, I don't want visitors at the moment. There's some kind of boundary going on around the environment where we are keeping it as our personal sanctuary. And we are, there are some opportunities coming up for us in the environment that we are taking advantage of us. Those of us who, well, there may be opportunities. If this environment is about work, then this could be that there are good opportunities coming up at work. I do feel like there have been some disappointments in the environment, but we're sort of taking those in stride, and we're looking at the opportunities and acting on those, working with those. So if this is at work, we are putting up boundaries at work, and we are working on some kind of opportunity that comes our way. And whatever this is that we're working on it, I do think we're working on it very independently. If this environment is talking about home, this may be that, we're not allowing other people to encroach on our sanctuary. And as we are enjoying that sanctuary, there's some kind of opportunity that we're able to take to make our environment even better than what it has been. And so we are doing that during this week of July 26th through the 31st. Okay, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about our subconscious leanings during this same time frame. Okay, so there's been some kind of situation where we have been more or less taking a break for a while. And I think we are ready to bring this situation where we've been taking a break to think things over and to decide, where we stand with whatever this is. We are ready to come out of that break, and we're ready to end that break. And we've decided what we want with this situation. And so I think in our subconscious, we're working on, okay, how are we coming out of this break? How are we interacting with the world or with this other person, wherever we're taking the break from, or whoever we're taking the break from, and coming in and manifesting what it is that we have figured out that we want. So our subconscious leanings are really working on, okay, how are we going to end this break and really manifest what we want out of this situation? Now, these cards don't say what we want out of this situation that we've had the break from. This doesn't say that, we want to move forward with whatever it was we were taking a break from, or that we want to completely end whatever it was we're taking a break from. And so because these cards really don't indicate that, I think that for each of us, it's going to be a little bit of a different thing that we want. Some of us will be ending whatever we were taking a break from. Some of us will be moving forward with whatever we were taking a break from. And so, you guys probably know, I'm sure you've been watching YouTube and watching me for a long time, most of you. And so you know that if you want to have a reading that is very specific and digs down into your personal energy and what's happening for you as an individual, the best thing you can do is get a private reading instead of a general reading that's for, every Scorpio that happens to watch this video, or every Scorpio that their cross-watcher happens to watch this video to see what's going on with them. So, if you would like to get a private reading to see, what's best, or, for any kind of guidance, I would love to be considered as your reader. All right, so what should we look at next? Let's look at learning and communication styles as we go through this particular time frame. Once again, information that we're trying to find is pretty much in front of us, easy to pick up, easy to learn. There is some emotion around some of the information that we're picking up and learning as we go through this time frame from the 26th to the 31st. There could be a little bit of drama that we pick up information from during this time frame. You know, as we're witnessing this drama, we're finding out new things. But I would say most of the information that we're picking up is very clearly in front of us. It's not like it's a struggle to find things out. Information is just right there and pretty free-flowing. Now, communication style. I really feel like we're doing a lot of reflecting on our own inner selves during this time, and so some of the things that we're talking about are going to be very sharp and pointed about some of the things that we feel are important, that we've been reflecting on. I don't think when we talk about those things, people are going to miss the point. We're going to be very direct with that. I do feel like we are communicating in a very clear and plain way to those people around us. We are bringing clarity, fellow Scorpios, to other people who are in our sphere of influence. And I think that we are, a lot of us are actually educating or mentoring people in our sphere of influence. There may be people coming to us that want advice on certain things or who are looking for information. It looks to me like we're willing to give that, and I think that these are people that we love and that we care about, so I think these are going to be more in personal life than in like business life or coaching life type of thing. Okay? Or if this is like in coaching, these would be people that, you know, you've become very close with through your working relationship. La da 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 da, la da da da. Okay, so next we are going to look at work, fellow Scorpios. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? It looks like we're getting a little bit more laid back about work during this time frame from the 26th to the 31st. We are not strategizing so much or trying to get promotions or marketing out there so much. There's a little bit more of a just letting things flow organically without having to pre-plan them energy coming in here. I think that work is good. It's not exactly what we want, but it is still good. And so I think that, you know, part of the reason it's not exactly what we want is because we are kind of slacking a little bit. We're not directing as much as we normally do whenever it comes to work and energy around work. But I do feel like there are people that we're collaborating with and that those collaborations are very productive and satisfying. Okay? La da da da. Now, what about inner work? I think, fellow Scorpios, our inner work during this time from the 26th through the 31st is about the people that we are collaborating with, especially those who we're collaborating with in a significant way during this time frame. And it looks to me like we're being very honest with ourselves about those collaborations and how they're doing and where they're going and whether or not they're really exactly what we want. And I think when we're honest about these, we realize that the collaborations that we've built are close to what is our ideal, but not exactly. So I think that inner work is fine-tuning these collaborations to make them more ideal. La da da, for ourselves and for the other people we're collaborating with. I think we're trying to create something that's win-win for everyone. All right? So, next thing that I'm going to look at is that part of our personality which is being grown or expanded as we go through this particular time frame, the 26th to the 31st of July. Honesty and truth is a big feature in where we're being grown or expanded. We are telling the truth in a very direct, very to the point way. We are taking action on the truth that we know. So we're definitely acting in integrity. Whatever communication that we're doing is very direct, to the point, very swift. We're not hesitating. We're not delaying as we communicate what we need to, as we communicate what are our values, what are our goals moving forward. And we are really opening up in big ways to those people who are around us with our vision. For a lot of us, I think that this has to do with business, with life goals, with projects. We are sharing with others information about the things that we want to do, and taking action to be able to do those things. If we need to apply for a loan to reach this goal that we have, we're applying for a loan. If we need to build a website to reach this goal that we have, we're building that website. Whatever it is as far as communication that needs to happen towards reaching this goal that we have, we're doing it. And I think we are being very open with people about what we're doing. That's where we're growing and expanding during this 6-day period. La, da, da, da. Things that we stand for. So it looks like there's somebody that needs to make a decision about us and about our behavior and figure out if they feel like we have integrity, if they feel like we're acting out of integrity, or if they feel like we are acting in some kind of malicious or twisted way. And it looks to me like as this person is making this decision, we're very aware that they have to sort that out and they have to make that decision. I think we're also very aware that there's nothing that we can say, just because this person has to find out information their own way. Anything that we say, this person doesn't know whether to trust us or not right now. So anything that we say is kind of going to be taken with a grain of salt, shall we say. But I think we're really hopeful that this person is going to find out all the information that they need to find out to make this decision in a very fair and good way. And I think there's somebody that is coming to us and saying, you know, how can you be so confident about this? How can you be so hopeful about this? And we're defending ourselves in that. La da da da. How this other person is seeing us. They're seeing that we have a lot of different options, even if this decision doesn't go the way that we're hoping that it will. They feel like we have a lot of different options, and they feel like we're prepared. I think they are expecting this decision to not go well for us, and I feel like they think they're looking at it like, even though they see that we're hopeful about how this decision turns out, they know that from the outside looking in, it looks to them like, even though that would be a really rough thing if that decision did not work out well for us, we are strong. And we're prepared to move forward with those things that are important to us, no matter how this decision works out. We may not like it. We may not like it, but we have other options about how to move forward with things, even if this decision doesn't come through. Okay? So we may be hopeful that somebody is going to, judge us and decide if they're going to give us a loan or financial backing for something. Or maybe we've got an application in to rent or lease a new home, and so we're waiting on a judgment on that. This could even be about some kind of court judgment, but somebody's making some kind of decision about us. And this other person, is saying, how can you be so hopeful? And even at the same time that they know we're being hopeful, they know that even if it doesn't come through the way we hope, that we'll still be fine. We may not be happy about it, but we'll still be fine. We have plenty of options, and we're strong. We're strong mentally and emotionally, as well as physically. It would be a bummer, but we could handle it, and they know that. Alrighty. Coming to the pivotal point in this time frame, fellow Scorpios. And what is it that's changing directions for us? I think that we are spending some time away from home and letting down some of those responsibilities that have to do with home and family, sort of putting those down. And that is bringing us some healing, some much needed healing and rejuvenation, actually. Maybe a lot of us are taking vacations. Maybe we're just taking an afternoon off or a day off. But some time away from home, some time away from responsibilities is really just bringing some rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation to us. And that's the pivotal point. That's the point where things start to change for us during this week. All right, what else is going on as this happens? Interesting. So things may be a little bit tight for us as far as money-wise, but I think they're only tight for us as far as money-wise because we've got something going on that we're doing, that we're creating, some kind of project, creative project that we're working on to manifest something that we want. And so where I think we're spending money on something that's not normally in our budget because of this. And so that is making things feel a little bit tight for us. And I think that we are, through this creative project that we're doing, I think we're able to really express who we are through this project. And I think that we're making something that is beneficial to another person or to others. I'm not sure which, but, and maybe that's because it's going to be different for different ones of us. But definitely working on a creative project. It is taking a little bit of money that normally would not be coming out of the budget. And it's bringing some kind of transformation, not only to our lives, but also to somebody else's life as well. La da da da. What else is going on as we are putting down responsibilities of home and finding healing and rest and rejuvenation? La da 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 da. La da da da. Interesting. Okay. How is this all working together? Looks to me like there's something going on with some friends or some colleagues where they're not really being as supportive as what we had expected or had hoped. They're basically letting us down or not coming through for us. I do think that there was something that they told us that they would be able to do for us, or that they wanted to do for us, some way that they thought that they would be able to be there for us. You know, whether that was emotionally or whether that was with a tangible physical type of activity or thing. And it looks like they are not able to live up to what they said, and that is causing some real stress on us because we're having to figure out, okay, how can I get this covered if I can't count on this person to do that? You know, how can I get this thing covered that they said that they would help me with, or that they would be there for me with? Okay, so there's a little bit of stress there as we're dealing with that. It can't be that bad because we're still being healed and rejuvenated. So whatever it is, it doesn't seem like it's anything to really get all worried about before it happens. Now, last part of the week. There is somebody that shows up here that is somebody that's very social, very outgoing. They like to have fun. They like to make people laugh. And they make some pretty mature decisions. They're really good at problem solving. There's somebody like this that's in our sphere of influence. And I think that we are really enjoying this person. And there's something that we are beginning anew again, whenever this person shows up. And I think that for us, this could be that we are allowing ourselves to fall in love again. If we're in a situation where we're not with that person that, well, you know what, this could go either way. We could be in a situation where, we're meeting somebody that we're allowing ourselves to fall in love again. If you're already, if you're a Scorpio that's already with somebody, you could be falling in love again with the same person that you're with. Because this definitely comes up as a renewal, as something that was before and is now coming back. So for those of us Scorpios who are single, this could be the idea of that, our heart is healed up from the last trauma, and now we're ready to move on again and to love again, and this person is sort of drawing that out of us. And for some of us, this could be even somebody from the past. Because of that whole idea of renewal, this could be somebody that's coming back and saying, hey, I want to try again, and we are trying again with them. Yeah, but for those of us Scorpios who are coupled up with somebody, then this is really coming into a new phase in that relationship where you guys are making it better, making the bond deeper, and really improving that relationship. Maybe even where that relationship had sort of gotten a little shabby around the edges and frayed, you're refreshing it, renewing it, reviving that. Okay? And no, I did not say reviving. I said revibing. You're putting some new vibes in there. All right. So that's how we end the month. Woot woot. That looks really positive, actually. I like to end in a positive place. It's kind of like, when you read a bedtime story, you want the happily ever after before you fall asleep. I like to end the month well instead of on a cliffhanger type thing. That's never cool. Anyway, I don't get to decide how the month ends. I'm just the messenger. But that's what we got this time. Thank you, all of you, for spending some of your precious time with me. I do appreciate it. I know these are long videos. I hope you guys get a lot out of them. Thank you for all the thumbs ups that you're putting on these videos and all the people that you're sharing them with that you think they may be helpful to them as well. And of course, thank you to those of you who keep coming back, who are my subscribers, and thank you to those of you who are new subscribes. Always glad to have more in the family. And of course, last but not least, thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings from me. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. And so I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. And if I don't see you for a private reading between now and the next video, then I'll just see you on the next video. Peace out. Of July when I come back.